If you own a home in the Seattle area, you're probably asking yourself, did I miss the best time to sell my home, or should I just sell it now? I just had the same conversation with a client of mine named Alex. We went through all of his stress, all the what ifs. Should he sell now? Should he wait? I'm going to take you through exactly what we did so you can make the best decision for yourself. Before I get into all of this, let's talk about buying and selling in a specific real estate cycle and what that means. A real estate cycle basically means if you sell your home and you're selling at the top of the market, and you buy a home, you're also buying at the top of the market. But if you sell at the lower time of the market, right? So if you think your house is worth $1 million, but it only sells for 900, you're also buying your next home at the kind of that lower time of the market. So you're buying in the same market. So if you're buying in that same time frame, you're usually going to be okay. The way you actually work out better, typically, when you sell when the market is really high and you try to time the market when it's really low, like in the summer, but that's hard to do. So most people end up buying in the same cycle. Let me introduce you to my friend Alex, and obviously that's not his real name. He bought his house 4 years ago and he has a decent sized mortgage. After 4 years, he was hoping to have way more equity in the house than he actually has. So Alex didn't know where to start. He's thought, like, if we sell now, are we going to leave money on the table? If we wait, will the prices go up? Will we make more money? He had so many things going through his head that we had to talk through. But what Alex really did know was that the house didn't fit his family anymore. It wasn't in the right neighborhood. It wasn't feeding into the right schools. And it was actually too big for them. So what we had to do with Alex was strip away all the drama. We had to find out what the home was worth, what he would walk away with, and what they were going to do next. So we found out what his home was actually worth, not the crazy Zillow number or not what the neighbors did next door in 2022. We pulled comparison sales for his neighborhood to tell him exactly how much his home was going to sell for. Then we went through the walkaway number, like how much money was he going to walk away with actually in his pocket. So it's not just what the house sells for. There's obviously real estate fees. There's something in Washington called excise tax, which is basically the sales tax you pay when you sell your house because you don't pay that when you buy your house. And then we talked about the escrow and the title fees. So we created a sheet, we call it a net sheet, that we went through with Alex so we could see exactly how much money he was going to walk away with everything done. Then we went through what he wanted to do next. And this is where people usually mess up. They jump on Zillow, they start searching for homes right away, and they get caught up in that scrolling Zillow land. And I know we've all been there before. But I told him to stop doing that. I said, let's talk about what neighborhood specifically do you want to be in? What kind of school districts do you want to be in? Do you want walkability? Do you want to reduce your commute? And after we went through all of these conversations, it really helped him solidify what he wanted next. And once we went through all of that, he could comfortably say and know what area he wanted to be in, how much he could afford, and how much specifically was going to cost him every month and what was left in the bank. Once we did that, we could look at real options. If you sell your home, how much were you going to get for it? How much were you going to pay every month? And how much money was going to be left in the bank? And here's the thing everybody gets hung up on, and it's probably a question you have in your mind right now. What if we wait till next year? Won't we make more money? So we broke it down, not trying to predict the future, but looking at what the real trade-offs were. Could the prices go up in a few years? Sure. Could they go down or even be flat? Also sure. We also talked about rates. Could rates go up? Of course. Could rates go down? Definitely a possibility. Could they remain flat? Of course, that's a possibility as well. So instead of pretending like anybody has a crystal ball, we talked about a few things. And the first one was, does the house actually fit your lifestyle? Next, we talked about if you woke up tomorrow in a different house, in a different neighborhood, with a different commute, all of those things, would your life be more simple or more complicated? Then we talked about if you stayed in your house for another 3, 4, or 5 years, how would that feel? Would it feel good? Would you miss time with your kids? Would the commute be too much? Would it be too stressful? We dove deeper into that as well. But let me just say this. If you love your house and there's no reason to move, in this market, stay where you are. But if you kind of feel stuck, you don't feel like you're in the right home or the right commute or the right area or the right school district, I highly encourage you to start thinking through these questions. So in Alex's case, we laid out a few things, and here they are. How much money would he walk away with if he sold this year? And if he sold this year, what would his monthly payments actually look like? And then we talked about what are the things he would give up if he waited another year, 2, or 3 years. So Alex and his family actually decided to sell their Seattle family home, move to Redmond because of their life. And what I mean by their life is they wanted to be in a better school district. They didn't want to be on a busy road. they wanted a better commute, kind of all those things that aren't specifically financially related. But going back to buying and selling in the same cycle, they were in the same cycle, meaning when they bought their home, because they actually bought first before they sold their home, they bought their home in a market that was a little flat, so they weren't paying at their peaks, but they're also selling their home right now where it's actually not the peak and it's a little bit flat. So again, they're buying and selling in the same cycle. And because of all of the things that go along with this, Alex and his family really felt good about this. Now it's your turn. How do you use all this information for yourself? So if you're sitting in Kirkland, Bellevue, or anywhere in the Seattle area, here are the things that I absolutely recommend you should do. First, figure out your actual price range. Second, figure out how much money you're going to actually walk away with. Third, look at what you actually want out of a house, the area, the location, the walkability. Look at all of those things. And then last, fourth, see if the math adds up. If it does, waiting may not actually be helping you. But if it doesn't, at least you know and you can move on. And if you'd rather not do this on your own, shoot me a text or email and I'll send you the checklist that I go through with all of my clients. I do this every week with my clients. We'll set up the framework and have this conversation, whether it's selling now or just waiting for the future. Just let me know. I'm here for you anytime.